Hello everyone and welcome to the Games of Norway livestream, where we are celebrating the Norwegian game development scene with a huge event with nearly all of what Norway has to offer, with a huge Steam sale, as well as this live stream. My name is John Edward and I'm luckily enough to be the host of the stream today. And the first topic for today is accessibility in games, and we're very lucky to have a great panel with us today. We have Elisabeth Sivertsen, or Arevya.
Hello, hello.
Hi, and we have Alexander Petersen, wheelchairfly.
That's me.
Yes, thank you very much for being here with us today. And first of all, because accessibility is quite a wide topic, and accessibility can also mean access. So I want to start by talking about the Redd Barna, or Save the Children stream team. Can you talk about what is this stream team and what do you do in this team?
So I'm part of the stream team. And it started out with Level Up Norge, who had Gaming Action, which was a fundraising in December where they raised money for Save the Children, Norway,
Yes.
Redd Barna.
Yeah.
And then now later, they have expanded it to be a stream team that will stream whenever we need to raise money for a cause, either in Norway or international.
Wonderful. Yeah. And how, can you describe some of the events you've had already, like some of the work you've been doing?
Some of the work we have been doing is the big one we have each year is Gaming Action. So then we raise money, but then it's also we have started a VIPS number, so people can either be monthly
Contributors.
Thanks you.
Yes.
Or do one-time sum to raise money. And that is what we have started with. It's quite newly funded. The official launch of the whole Steam team was 3 weeks ago in Oslo. So even though we have done some small things in December and stuff, the actual official launch was 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Awesome. And the launch went well, I hope?
It did. It absolutely did. We were at Save the Children's location Oslo. So we had a stream there with people from Save the Children came in and played a game with us.
Yeah.
Some Norwegian games as well. It was really, really wonderful. And the people had not necessarily streamed before, but they wanted to talk about Save the Children and what they do in Norway and international. So yeah, that was really, really fun.
Wonderful. And we'll be talking for quite a bit. So if anyone has any questions in the comments, feel free to ask them. Alexander, can you tell a bit about how has it been being involved with the stream team?
Well, I'm actually not directly involved in the stream team. I work for Save the Children's campaign team.
Ah, okay.
So I'm more of an outside observer, or more of a cheerleader for this thing, because I'm such a fan of video games, and I've just recently started working with Save the Children's campaign team.
Yeah.
So I work for a lot of the other campaigns as well. But I was really excited when I heard about this, because it's both things are very near and dear to my heart: video games and accessibility. As a disabled person who's played video games all my life, both of these things flow naturally into things I'm interested in anyway.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about your team? What you work with the Save the Children team?
Yes, I work with the Save the Children's campaign team. So we more of their political campaigns and outrage stuff. So we have some campaigns surrounding disability and normalizing different aspects of disability. We're launching a campaign called Pappa Man, the fathers band of dads, trying to make them more sort of accessible forward. Start thinking about accessibility before the disabled kids join their activities. So we feel like we're welcome before we arrive.
Yep.
Which is an experience that very few of us have experienced.
Yeah.
Because they always try and reinvent the wheel whenever we turn up. And
Yes.
that's a little late.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like wonderful work. What makes the work of the stream team, what is the importance of the stream team? What do you think it does?
So I think everybody watching know that gamers are extremely incredible when it comes to charity. Well, we do things that is sadly never ever spoken about nearly, but in the more national news and stuff.
Yeah.
But we do so many amazing things. Look at Games Done Quick. like look at what they do.
Yeah.
Twice a year, they have millions of dollars they raise for different charities. I think there was a Polish streamer now that raised money for cancer research that just hit every single mark out there. So gamers, we do extremely lot of good things. But then not many people then know about it. So we sort of bridge the team of like gamers. We show what good we can do. We can raise money for good causes. And also for people who already support Save the Children to go like, oh, gamers, they do actually quite cool things.
Yeah, so the visibility and like the positive things that are happening.
Yeah.
If anyone would like to support the work that Save the Children does, especially like the stream team or the work in general, what can they do?
So you can always support with money. That is always the thing you do. And if you cannot support with money, that is also okay. Like learning about the cause, learning what they do, get informed. What do they do in your local society? What do they do in your local town? What do they actually do to help children? And what can you do to make them more visible so that the people who need their help can see it?
Yeah, and I would like to shout out volunteering.
Yeah.
Becoming a volunteer yourself is not only very meaningful for us as Save the Children, because that's the backbone of what we do, but it's also incredibly meaningful work for the people who volunteer.
Yeah.
Because it could be a way of finding an in-group if you don't feel like you have one.
Yeah.
And it's an incredibly inclusive environment of people of all kinds of different backgrounds. So it's a very good and easy and powerful way to organize with like-minded people. Doing something that feels like it's bigger than yourself.
Yeah, doing something with an extra meaning.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you do as a volunteer?
It could be all kinds of things. You could join in as part of the campaign team. Like what I do for work is I try to facilitate activities that our volunteers can do. So when we're setting up a conference, we need volunteers on the ground to set up tables and chairs, and they also talk ahead of the program and spread the word, so to speak. So there's lots of things you can do.
Wonderful. And if you want to be a volunteer, is there anywhere you can go to sign up?
Save the Children's website is very easy.
Yeah.
Save the Children or redbarna.no.
Redbarna.no.
Yes. So
If you're in Norway.
yeah, if you're international and wondering what Red Barna means, Save the Children.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but okay, accessibility in games. It's a huge topic, and for some, maybe it's a bit of a buzzword. So let's just start. When we talk about accessibility in games, what are we actually talking about?
Accessibility, we use the word accessibility, but what we actually mean is universal design. So you can imagine it being equivalent to a ramp into a building, but it is so much broader than just that. Accessibility in gaming means to lower any barrier to make it possible for people to join gaming.
Yes.
So accessibility, yes, it is for us who are disabled, but it also helps everybody in the end. And that is what we see. We see that what was something that was made for disabled people. So like subtitles that was made for people who are deaf or hard of hearing.
Yeah.
Now today is used by so many people. I think it was Sniper 5 showcased that they had, what was it, like 96% of their gamer base will have subtitles on because it's so normalized.
Yeah.
So accessibility is to help us to be able to game, but it helps everybody in the end.
So it helps everybody. And when we speak about like everybody and disabilities, there's a topic of visible disabilities versus invisible disabilities. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we talked a bit about it when we were in the green room earlier. So a bit of background, because maybe people do not know, but me and Alexander has disabilities, actually the same disability, but we have quite different levels. I am born with illness called cerebral palsy, and I have a mild case of it. And that's the same for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a much more visible form of cerebral palsy, which some viewers may recognize if they've seen other people with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
On TV, they typically look kind of like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even though we have a lot of the same experience, we also have a lot of the not same experience, or we have the same problems but a different side of the coin, as I a lot of times have had problems with not feeling that I'm allowed to use accessibility because I do not look like I am disabled.
Yes.
Yes. So I feel like I have been a bit locked out of. I'm falling between two chairs because I'm not always taken into the warmth of the disability community because they look at me and go like, but you're not disabled. And then on the other side, I'm also not disabled. So being with people who do not have the same problems I am is hard.
That sounds really challenging. It's like, and this is a horrible sentence to say, but like not being disabled enough.
Yeah,
No. Yeah. But accessibility in games. What are some of you have like any concrete examples of how to do accessibility in games? Like what are some things, like we have subtitles, that's one example. What other examples do we have?
Well, there's some games have the ability to disable button mashing challenges.
Yes.
That's just one of those things that in some games would be a barrier where I couldn't progress past a game.
Yeah.
But when you can disable those, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And of course, like it is a lot. It is because when you think about the topic, is anything that lowers the barrier, that gets like quite a lot. And I think like people sometimes think they've never used accessibility, but all of us playing game have done it. Like
in one way, like difficulty options is a form of accessibility.
Difficulty option, controller support, button remapping, sound sliders. You have puzzle helpers, tutorials. You have a game I have been working on, which is a game you guys will talk with later, which is Megapop's New Life Below. They have like the possibility to play the whole game just using your mouse. Yeah, that is accessibility for people who cannot use a keyboard or a controller. And then you have accessibility. Like if something lowers the barrier, it is accessibility, which makes it be quite a large and sometimes a bit scary topic for some people due to how complex it is.
Yeah.
Since it is a complex topic, and since I know that some developers have a challenge doing it because it's a long list and it's hard to maybe start on the list. What's one thing that you think game developers should like start with if you're doing game accessibility?
So normally when, especially like small indie studios reach out to me since I work with it and they ask like, what can we do? Normally what I say is do one thing and do it well and be proud of it because nobody can be 100% accessible. Like the most accessible game we have per day is Last of Us 2. Yeah. And even that is not accessible for me because I have something called PTSD, which is a trauma response to things that have happened previous in my life. And being chased by zombies does not work.
Yes.
No, my body goes into total like stop. My body just can't. So I will never be able to play Last of Us, no matter how accessible they make it, because it is about zombies. So what I tell developers, especially small indie studios, is that you have to focus on what your game is, and you have to focus on what you can do. So say like, are you a text-based game? Okay, so it's important for you that people can read the text, make sure the text is large. And in the end, share it, inform about it. I cannot even think about like a Steam page I've seen actually talking about it in their Steam store. Things like that.
That's actually very interesting. We got a question from the chat from Debug who asks, like, are there any way to tag accessibility features in Steam?
Yes, there is.
There is. Okay. There is. Yes, there is.
So when developers make a game, they end up can go in and fill out a questionnaire that tells them how they just fill it out, what they feel their game has, and then Steam automatically gives you tags. The really good thing about that is that a lot of people use advanced searching method when I search for games on Steam. So say they only search, and without the advanced filter, they say, I only want to play games that has controller support. Yeah. Then they will not get up your game if you do not have the tag controller support.
Yes.
And I also heard a developer, I was on a conference lately, who talked about how he had added controller support early in the game. And now his game is accessible both on mobile and on the Steam Deck automatically, just because what he did when he started developing his game.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also a question from Noxox72 who asks, is there any standardization within the game dev community? Like, there is parental guidance for age. Is there some way, like standard way of showing what kind of accessibility is available?
So no, and a bit maybe reason there is like a talk in the industry. Do we want to have it? Do we not want to have it? And I myself am a bit on the side of I do not want it.
Okay.
And the reason is just because games, like in movies, say if a movie goes on BBC or a program on BBC, they have guidelines. How big should the captions be? How large should they be? What color should the background be? What color should the text be? And so and so. But film, even though film are amazing, is just one medium that is quite linear.
Yeah.
Like a movie is a movie every time. And then you have a game. And a game can be so many different things that if we start standardizing, the problem is that you can force people who do not need that kind of accessibility to add things they don't need, which would not be okay. Like, yeah, you need subtitles, but what if your game doesn't have any sound?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But some game developer studios have standardization in their own in-house. So Ubisoft, if anything is published under the name Ubisoft, they have to follow these standardized lines from Ubisoft themselves.
So the publisher seems to have some sort of standardization internally at least.
Internally, yes.
Yeah.
But we do not have like one big, large thing that we say everybody should do.
We don't have like PEGI, but for
No.
accessibility. Yeah. You mentioned you're a game developer, and I just wanted to, like, we've talked about accessibility, we'll come back to it. I just want to get to know you a bit more personally. Could you talk about, maybe, Alexander, you go first. How did you become a gamer? What's like your story with video games?
Well, I became a gamer just because video games existed around me ever since I was a child. And I think, for me, it was one of those things because a lot of other kids would play football together or play sports that were inaccessible to me, but video games were very easily accessible to me. And I was the kid who had all the video games, so all the kids in the neighborhood came to me to play video games, and that was kind of my entry point into. I had a Nintendo 64, which was my first console, and I have some amazing memories on that.
What was like? Did you have like a favorite game from that time or now or?
Well, this is going to be the basic bitch pick, but it's Ocarina of Time, obviously.
Good choice. Good choice. Yes.
That's like the biggest core memory for me.
Do you remember like the first time you experienced accessibility in a game, which made a difference to you, or one of the times it made a difference for you?
Yes. Well, I think it's probably the first time I was able to disable a button mashing challenge. In a game. I don't even remember which game it was. I just remember having struggled trying to get past something, and my reflex was to blame myself before sort of instantly go into like shaming mode. And the moment you sort of relieve yourself of that, because that's the thing, is it? Because accessibility so often feels like a crutch. Whereas it's more of an empowerment tool more than anything. And it's a way to enable an experience of a video game without taking away the challenges that are meaningful to you. You know? Because that's still a part of why I love to play video games. It's not because I want them to be unchallenging. It's just I would like for me to be able to perform the challenges. You know what I mean?
So accessibility is empowerment. That's a good way to put it.
When I talk a lot with studios, so my job is mostly content creating, but then also I'm a consultant for game developers on accessibility. And a lot of times I talk to them and I say that games are just a bunch of barriers, like trying to get from A to Z, and to do that you either have to fight the boss, race something, puzzle something, do something. You have to do something. So we cannot barrier free a game. A game cannot be without any barriers. So we cannot remove everything. So it's really important when I talk to studios to make them understand what is their like value of the game. Like if the value, if what you love with your game is like being hardcore difficulty, then maybe easy mode is not the accessibility for you, but maybe button remapping is. Or audio sliders so you can easily hear when to parry. Or is it maybe tutorials so you can try things easier. Or like there is so many other things. There isn't one thing fits everybody.
Yeah.
If you are like a story heavy game, like say Final Fantasy, one of the reasons why the more modern remakes now are accessible is because everything has voiceovers. So everything you can just sit and actually get to know what is happening in Final Fantasy without having to read a bloody novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Elisabeth, you mentioned you're a game developer. You want to talk a little bit about how has that experience been?
So it's so weird. Calling me a game developer for me feels a bit like, oh, this is weird because like I am a consultant, but technically, yeah, that is what it is. It's been quite nice. So I played games, and games for me when I grew up was a free space where, like, since I look non-disabled, society just put a lot of like, we think this is the rules and regulations and like things you should be able to do.
Yes.
But I was never able to do that because I struggled so much.
Again, back to the visible versus invisible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So gaming were for me, that was like my free space. It was like no matter how many times I tried, no matter how many times like what I did, it was like the free space to just have fun. I could always try again. I would never shamed to not be able to like reach up to an arbitrary line that I was never born to be able to reach up to. So then when I got older, started streaming, I sadly got arthritis. And I got really sad because I thought this was the end of me ever streaming again, ever doing anything again. And I started bawling my ass out on stream one day and I was really sad. And my community was actually one going like, hey, no, there is like a bunch of tools you can use to be able to play games. So I started playing games with my feet. So my arms, as you can see, they still work, but to make sure that I don't overuse them so they get stiff and painful, I also now play games with my feet.
Yeah.
And that just snowballed with me starting to talk about accessibility, the importance of accessibility. And then that was just like a backdoor into game development. Then companies wanted to hire me, companies wanted to have me over. So I traveled around to gaming studios, talking to the developers, showcasing how I play games, showcasing why I need accessibility and so on.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. How, like, this Life Below, this is your first time doing the consultant work, yes?
So it's not my first time, but it's my first large title.
First large title.
Yes.
How's that been going?
That is really, really, really fun.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And it's not just that, it's to be with a studio that is so like invested in it. They really want to do this. Because many times I think most people want to do it, but some people really, really have it like in their soul on wanting to do it. And so what I have done is that I've been sent a lot of their builds and then I play the games, I make a report and I do the boring administration and send it back and then they make new changes compared to what I've written to them.
How has being a consultant, like, how has the game communication with the game devs been? Has they been like, oh, that's a big thing, we can't do that? Or have they been positive? Like, how has that process been?
Every time I work with a studio, it's always the completely opposite. Is that they want to add everything. They want to they're going to be the next big Last of Us. Like everybody want to add everything. And then us as consultant needs to go in and say like, hey, this is really cool, but you do not have $3 billion to add everything you want in 17 years.
Yeah.
We need to scale it down and figure out what matches your game, what matches what values you have. What is it do you want people to as you say, like access the game and what experience do you want people to be left with?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's build accessibility around that so more people can have your intended experience.
Yeah, and feel empowered in the way you want them to feel empowered.
Yes.
The game is Life Below, right?
Life Below.
Yeah, you're going to be able to see a showcase of that later tonight.
Yes.
Some more comments from Twitch. Drumjoff writes, some engines have good features for accessibility built in, so it does not have to be a lot of work to do something that has a large impact.
Yeah.
Which is very nice for the game devs out there. And Noxock asks, is there any demand regarding accessibility from NFI when financing Norwegian games? I actually don't know. Do you know?
I don't think there is any demand, but I do know that there is now 3 studios in Norway that has got grants by Bufdir.
Yes.
So to actually add accessibility to their game. So I don't think it is a demand. And Like, I don't think we should have it as a demand because, like, if you're a single solo developer, that might add a year.
Yeah.
And I think it's better when it's just like, we want to have this, we want to add this, let's do that instead. Yeah.
And as you said, it's like different games require different solutions.
Yes.
So trying to standardize too much might actually be making it more challenging instead of making it easier.
Yeah.
And maybe that also, I'm speaking a little bit outside my wheelhouse here, but maybe that also speaks to the novelty of the relative novelty of video games versus cinema, which is the medium that NFI is more commonly associated with, or has been working with for a longer period of time. Because in order to get access to cinema funding, there's lots of diversity funding options in cinema and TV production, which probably leads to more diverse products down the line. But accessibility features is probably, relatively speaking, such a newer idea that's still a couple of years away, I would, or maybe even, a couple of years away from being as present in people's minds.
Yeah, normalized 100%. And like, because, so every single game that ever have existed have had some sort of accessibility, because even the first game ever came out in 1958 in Canada had accessibility. It has difficulty settings. So accessibility is not technically new, but it's new to be active working with it. Like it's new to actively go, we have our own accessibility team, or we have our own. Before it was more like accessible by coincidence, accessible by cool, our klikken, hva heter det på norsk? Klikk og peks?
Point and click.
Point and click, thank you. Point and click games go like, we're accidentally accessible for people who cannot do things quick on their computer.
Accidental accessibility.
Yeah. So, but I agree with you. Like, we will, from like 2018 was when we saw like a really big shift in the industry, and I think we will see that more and more. And some things that is really nice within Norwegian development sphere is that we have a lot of funding. We have possible ways to actually get the money to do it. It's not something that come at the later stage or at like cost for anything else, because we have funding opportunities for Norwegian developers to actually apply for things so that they can get the money to have funding, to have a salary, to have food, to pay the rent and
Food
stuff
is
like
nice.
that. Food is nice. Food is nice.
Yes. We actually got a response regarding the NFI question from Drumjov, who says it is not a demand from NFI, but he thinks that, or Drumjov thinks that NFI could have a grant for adding accessibility, but not as base funding, but like as an additional grant.
Yeah,
That would be the dream.
Because that kind of incentive really shapes the way that the industry works as well. I think, if anything, if conversations like these could be the jumping off point for indie devs or any kind of dev really to start having conversations about how, not only how do you add accessibility features into a game post hoc, but how do you create games that are more accessible from base, you know?
For base, yeah.
And I think that's something you said. It's like that comes again, talking about it, speaking about it, finding the solution, and not just like keeping the discussions like closed and like, we don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation.
And hire consultants like yourself to talk about like what's the use case for what does accessibility look like in this genre?
Yes.
What's the use case in this instance?
I often, when I talk to like on conferences and stuff, we say that like accessibility is like to make a blueberry muffins, and you can have a regular muffin and put blueberries in it afterwards, but it's not perfect. But what would be better is if you add the blueberries in the start, before you make the muffin, actually add it in the front. And you see that with a lot of games that have talked about it and thought about it from the start. You get a whole, and often a lot of cheaper way of adding accessibility, because if it's part of the design, say that you really, really want to have colorblind accessibility, and then you know that from the day you start making the game, you will not make the character a red berry on a green forest background, because you know by default that is not accessible. So then you, by having these thoughts, knowing this from before, you just don't take these design choices and UI choices and controller choices that you know will be a pain to fix down the line. So
yeah, and like the earlier in the process you actually think about it, the easier, and I guess you could say also cheaper. Cheaper it is, because then you've thought about it from the get-go.
I saw a game now. I played the Moomin, the new Moomin game from Hyper Games.
We showed that here yesterday, actually.
Yeah, and like I think they have. I'm working on a review of that game, like an accessibility review, and I think one of the like a bit accidental accessibility they have is that you see Moomin has like an what do you call it, like utris?
Scar? Or?
No. Outline. Thank you.
Yes. Of course.
Outline. He has an outline, so we can always see him compared to the background. Even though Moomin has white fur, you still can see him compared to the snowy background. So even though you have color blindness or you are blind, so being blind is a spectrum, so you can still have sight left. You might be able to still play the game just because he has an outline.
Yeah. Yes, Fragment Ventures also comments outline. Yes, not Scar. That was the wrong word. I'm sorry. And Noxox says he enjoys the Mumi text font. Yes.
They have added something called dyslexic font, so it makes it. We don't actually have the science behind it, so we don't know if it actually works. But a lot of people say that adding something called dyslexic font, which makes they differentiate a bit better between the letters, makes it easier for people with dyslexia to read it. And I'm a bit like, hey, if people say it works, it works. Yeah.
Also, Dramjov is Fritjof, so it's he. Hi, Fritjof. Thank you very much. And Debug replies also regarding the font, something that I know font enthusiasts struggle with this, but that's why many people like Comic Sans.
Yeah.
It's like everyone uses it. Yes, because it's very visible and it works.
Very readable.
And in that case, I can also imagine it would be an appropriate aesthetic choice for the Moomin game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Alexander, you mentioned that people might have seen someone like you on TV, but some of the people watching might have seen you on TV.
They might have actually done that, yes.
Yes, you've been in the Morde i Song, which is a TV series. Could you talk about that experience? I'm very curious.
It was a very absurd experience because I was no actor prior to that experience. I was called pretty much out of the blue because I also work for Bergen International Film Festival. I was called during a staff meeting. And Alicia, who was the casting agent, called me and asked me if I wanted to be part of that. And I said yes. And she asked if I wanted to send in a tape. And I did on a cabin trip with my brother. So he read his lines to me and I had to react to them. And astonishingly, I got the part based on that tape. And it was just a very sort of warm, collaborative experience because everyone was so nice. I worked with Eili Harbo, who's like a proper actress who's worked on this since she was 15, and she really sort of accepted me into the fold as if I were an actor from jump, and everyone was so nice to me. It was an absolutely lovely experience.
Wonderful. So yes, if he looks familiar, it's him.
But this is so unfair because I said earlier we were in like the green room earlier, and I said like I feel like I've seen you before, and you were just like, oh yeah, maybe you've seen one of my Instagram posts, saying you've been on TV.
I don't know what was more diva of me. It was, of course you've seen me. I'm on TV. So I play Nils. He works for Kripos. He has a neck tattoo, which I don't. And he's much more stern than me.
Yes. So you're the nicer one.
I'm the nicer one.
Yes.
I've never been less emotive in my entire life. It's very unusual for me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Some more comments. Milky said, as someone who is not dyslexic, fonts are way easier to read for me as well.
Good.
And Debug says, fonts are also for me a part of the game mood. I can't play a fantasy game that uses Arial or Verdana. So it's also the artistic balance.
Yes.
And
we joked about it a bit on Green Room as well. Like I said that we should rebrand accessibility to just call it quality of life.
Yes.
Because like every time I get in any scuffle online. Of course I do, because I talk very openly about accessibility, and some people just get angry then.
Yeah.
Because how dare people want to play games? How dare them?
This is my hobby.
This is my hobby, and only me. But if a game adds like accessibility, there will always be like a bunch of comments that are negative to it. But as soon as they add quality of life, people go like, "Yay!"
I actually think this is very fascinating, because like when we like, this is a conversation about accessibility, but when you use that like label, some people are like, oh, that's not relevant for me.
Yeah.
But then some examples actually are some of the more recent Microsoft games like South of Midnight and Indiana Jones, because like then you have very detailed like difficulty options and again the subtitle size and the outlines and stuff, and it's not accessibility, it's just how do you want to play the game. Yeah.
And I think that is like one of the things we talk about a lot. Like, say a quality of life that get added that is also accessibility is like you have a base and you have a lot of chests, and when you are at the workbench, your items automatically get pulled into the workbench.
Yes.
You don't need to go over to get everything that is in a chest that you need to make whatever you're making. That is accessibility.
Yeah.
Because it reduces the amount of clicks you need to do. It reduces the amount of cognitive load. So cognitive load is like, think about your brain as a computer, RAM, and if you have a disability and you're in a lot of pain, that you might not have that much RAM to deal with stressful things in games.
Yeah.
But regular people also experience it with like, you have a baby at home, you have the exam period, you experience sorrow for the first time. Like every human experience these things.
Yeah.
So when we then call it a lot of times quality of life, people go like, oh yeah, but then I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the word kind of becomes like difficult. Oh no, I don't need that, but I want a better gaming experience. Well, then you want accessibility.
You want accessibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned the idea of putting it several places in the menu.
Yes.
Not just in its own folder.
Yeah. In Life Below, so anybody who tries the demo for Life Below, get the game. They will see that everything you find in the accessibility menu, you will also find in every other of the settings menu. So say like motion sickness things will be under accessibility, but it will also be under visual options.
Yes.
And the reason for that is because even though like I see in the room right now, I see a lot of people with glasses, but I bet you people with glasses or contact lenses do not look at themselves as disabled, but they have an ability that is lowered. So the problem then with only having your settings under accessibility is that people who also might need it won't look at that because they go, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes. So when I consulted for Life Below, one of the things I said is that we do this loop system that I got inspired by Star Wars Outlaws because they do it, and they had a really, really good talk about how they do it.
Yeah.
And that is just because they see that if they add accessibility not under accessibility tags, more people would use it. And that is what we want in the end. We want people to play games because a lot of people, and also will internalize ableism, which just means that you're struggling to look at yourself as disabled because you think being disabled is a bad thing. A lot of people who are disabled will not categorize themselves as disabled because they're ashamed of it. And then we still want them to have the help accessibility can give them. So we put it under other settings as well.
It's also interesting just to mention a brief point about glasses, because I was 22 years old when I admitted to myself that I needed glasses, and it was the first time I experienced sort of the way that I go around experiencing the world can be improved.
Yes.
You know, and because I was I'm born with cerebral palsy and have been disabled all my life, I was like, well, this is enough. This is my body. I don't need anything else. I don't have poor eyesight. I have this thing. This is the only thing I have.
Yes.
It turns out I also am nearsighted. And then when I wore glasses, I was like tripping balls for like the first day. It's like, what? Is that how the rest of the world sees the world? Is everything in like high definition? I didn't know.
What is this?
I thought things far away were just blurry by default.
Why didn't you tell me?
Exactly. So,
I'm bored with 4K. What is
exactly.
this?
Yeah, I know, right? So that was the first experience I had. Like things in your world can be changed for the better.
Yes.
And tools can help you have a better life experience, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, comes back to just talk about it and normalize it. Yeah.
Yes.
Normalize wearing glasses. It's not the distance is not supposed to be blurry. It's okay.
Hashtag
It's not a bit blurry. More draw distance.
More draw distance to the world, please.
Yes. Milky has a question for you, Alexander. Did having a neck tattoo on the TV series made you want to get a neck tattoo?
Low-key, yes.
Yes.
One of us.
What? Oh, yes.
You have a neck tattoo?
No, but I tattoos though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna go through some more comments. Milky also says, yeah, old Final Fantasy games with modern fonts feels weird sometimes, but it's a good thing. Debug asks, can you recommend any tool to test if a game is usable with screen readers?
That is a hard one, but because the thing I was thinking about is just use the screen reader, turn on the screen reader on your computer and play the game.
Just try. Yeah.
And if you want a good example of screen readers, like Last of Us series, just 1 and 2, you can literally play them without a screen. So you can turn on Last of Us, go into the audio section, turn on all the audio accessibility, and the whole game will be like an audiobook for you. So everything happening on screen will be told to you. You will have haptic feedback in the controller, so you can feel where you are, and everything that you need, and like the cutscenes will be explained to you. So those are like the really, really big gold standards for that. I would shout out another console, because blind accessibility is really, really big topic in itself. Sightless Combat, he is a gamer without sight, so he has never had sight. He is born completely blind. So even though most people are blind, have some sight left, he is one of the few % that does not have any sight. And he talks a lot about this, and he is a lot better than I am, and I think so. Sightless Combat, highly recommend checking him out. And he showcased how he uses screen readers to play games.
Wow.
How he turns it on, how like he interacts with games to play them independently without having help from anyone.
Yeah.
That also sounds like a very fun experience, even as a sighted gamer.
Yeah.
Just try it once.
Yeah, I was like, it was like the Last of Us interactive audiobook.
Yeah. That's scary as hell.
Yeah. But that's the thing though, like speedrunning, how many speedrunners use like accessibility, like say the controllers we have here, like the specialized controllers, like playing games on a banana, you have done accessibility because you have played now on a different controller. Congratulations, accessibility. Elden Ring played on a banana.
We had yesterday someone who played a game on, they made like a controller which was basically a boat out of paper.
I saw that. Yeah. And that is like an alternative input, which is accessibility.
By design. Milky also writes, a lot of modern fighting games are also completely playable without screens. Proximity to your opponent is shown by beeping sounds. Yeah. Very fascinating.
Cool.
I'm gonna go home and play games without my TV now.
The thing is that I always say that gaming is the most accessible hobby you can have. Like there are no other hobby I know about that you can do at home. You can get all the accessibility you need. You can always find a game, no matter what disability you have. There will be a game that is accessible for you, or no matter what. And if you don't look at it as disability, no matter what barriers you have, you will be able to like have a game to play. Yeah. So like I played now. There was a game jam made for it's a game jam for blind gamers, and I played a horror game that was like, imagine Alien Isolation. But there is nothing on your screen. Yeah.
Well, do I have to?
It took me some hours to complete the game, and I was like, my knuckles were white at the end because I've crushed the controller so hard because I was so scared because they had surround sound, and I made only the back sound. So every time the monster came close to you, you could hear it like in your neck, and I went like, no, where's the door? I can't remember. And so it is also a tool for just have fun. And I think that is important because a lot of times when people talk about accessibility and disability, they get extremely afraid. They get afraid to offend us. They get afraid to do things wrong. They get afraid to just, they want to be polite, so they get overly polite. Yeah. And like, sorry to say, but fuck it, just have fun. Yeah. You are a developer. You are creative. You just talk to us, ask us. Like, we will most likely share everything and a bit more to learn you and teach you, because all we want to is to play all your games.
Yeah. Drumjoff comments, auto clickers for idle games saved both my hands. I use them to pass time when I'm not knitting, and I'm on the brink of inflammation constantly.
Yep.
So that's another example. Ye old point-and-click adventure games let you turn off mini-games that might stop people from being allowed to progress the story, which is a good example. And Drull-Andreas writes, disabled folks are the largest minority we have. If you live long enough, you are bound to become disabled.
Yes, exactly.
Which is a good point.
Very good point.
Let's see. And yes, and Melky also said regarding playing games on a banana, he says, I'm not sure I'd call Elden Ring on a banana quality of life.
Are you sure though?
His comment, not mine.
Get your daily potassium.
Yes. Okay, but we've been talking a bit about like speaking about disabilities and accessibility. How would you say the status is on the public discourse in Norway specifically and abroad on disability?
Ooh.
Simple question.
Extremely simple.
Disability, yes, all of it. Discourse is lacking.
Yeah.
Lacking.
More than anything. It's just not talked about. And when it is, it's us talking about it. And because it's one of those things where it's not politically divisive, so everyone agrees, or most people, except for like fascists, agree that accessibility or making society more accessible is a net good for everyone.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not controversial means that it's very hard to get our points across because everyone thinks that we've solved it already.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And in Norway, everyone thinks that the welfare society, the welfare state, has already solved. Well, you already have lots of money thrown your way, so what's the problem?
Yeah.
And that means that all of our problems become invisible.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to talk about it.
And also, a lot of times people, it's weird. So when I talk about like, I am really hard on saying the word like, I have a brain injury when I have my talks, when I do streams, because I want people to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, because that's very direct and very honest.
And I could see on you even it is uncomfortable because we hush down illness, disability. We hush down being humans all the time. And people are like, they are so afraid to offend that they just decide to not talk about it.
Yeah.
Even though it's something that will affect everyone, everybody, either themselves or somebody they know. Like that is just how it is.
Yeah.
And then when people are sort of afraid of talking about it and it's, as you say, invisible, it turns out that when you then come and ask for accessibility or ask for access, just regular access, people go like, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because they are there think like, in my case, I am lucky enough to do not get a discrimination because I do not look like I'm disabled. But then people mistrust me. They go like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, excuse me?
What? Yeah. No. You're not. You look like me, and I'm not disabled, so you cannot be disabled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
thank you.
These.
Do you go like prove it or like what do you like?
Well, people ask like, why? How?
What?
Why?
Yeah.
Or then I get, but you look so nice, and I was just like, thank you, but excuse me.
But that's not a nice comment.
No, it's not.
No.
No. Backhanded compliment and all of these things, and it's like we need to be able to sit in the uncomfortableness. Because it is uncomfortable sometimes to talk about.
Yeah.
Yes, and also I would say that within the disabled community, we talked about internalized disability earlier. I've struggled a lot with like accepting people of other disabilities, and because I've felt that I've had to prove myself as an intellectual being. And a smart person, I always sort of front end my intellect in order to not be perceived as intellectually disabled, which means that I've inadvertently pushed away people who are neurodivergent, which is the thing I'm really sort of ashamed of admitting, or it's easier to talk about now, but I was really bad at that before.
Yeah.
there was a lot of sort of us. I'm not like them.
Yep.
They are not me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like elbowing in the disability community as well. And it's like people are angry at each other instead of understanding that we need to have a united front to be able to have it better.
Yeah, and I just like Alex, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that's the thing, like just saying like we can be bad at this stuff.
Yeah.
But that means we can be better.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
Yes.
owning like I've done bad, like people, like as you said, like owning, like I've said some things that I regret, or things that I'd said something because I had feelings I struggled with on my own. And again, as you said, we all have feelings. Like it's sometimes hard to know what to say, but saying something and trying to be better is better than just like being silent.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, learning about other people can be incredibly empowering for yourself as well.
Yeah.
And it's so like on the other side with me, I have the mild case of cerebral palsy. So for me, I am more cognitively affected than maybe other people are, because people with such mild cases like me, we do not get support. So I went through my whole school system not getting any support, which tears on your energy, your pain level, and you get slowly more and more ill and disabled. Not due to because you technically the illness making you more disabled, but the form that you never get the access you need make you more disabled.
Yeah.
Because you always need to fight 10, 20, 50% more than the rest of the peers around you.
Yeah.
And so when I started talking about it, I also have experienced the same you said, like, because as soon as people hear things like brain injury or something like they infantilize us. So infantilizing is when you talk to somebody as they are a child. They don't look at us as individual people with grown lives. So when I talk about accessibility in games and like cognitive accessibility, like I talk to game developers that like emoji chat. So for people who necessarily cannot speak but still want to have access to gaming and like WoW and like any other multiplayer game, you add in chat for emojis or like pre-made words and sentences.
Yeah.
So Rocket League is a good example for that. And then all of the times I see they never add in swearing, even though swearing is a part of
the language.
It's part of the language.
Yeah.
They never add things that are negative. Like they look at us as like sort of like we are just children or we have to be positive all the time. And I'm just like, no, disabled humans are humans, bad humans and good humans. Disability has nothing to do with it. Disability is just a neutral term.
We're humans.
We're humans.
Yeah.
But these conversations are really hard to have. But that is why, like, when you have consultation in, it's that space where you can ask these questions, you can listen to it, and there are so many YouTube videos, like conferences and everything, where people with different disabilities, with different barriers, talk about their lived experience, so that you as a developer can learn about it.
And I think also. I feel like there was an elephant in the room in the question that I don't think we've addressed just yet, is sort of because obviously we know how bigoted and discriminatory video game discourse can be.
Yes.
You probably know this even more than I do, but I think. My little red flag or my hypothesis is that I don't think that the gaming community is especially more bigoted than society at large.
No.
Yeah.
That it's just a reflection of. I mean, it is or has historically been very male-dominated and very able-bodied male-dominated, as most things in society have been, and because of that, it's cultivated a certain reputation. An earned reputation for being incredibly sexist and misogynist and ableist.
Yes.
But that's because society at large is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's again, gamers are also people, and are there any like specific challenges when regarding disability and games culture?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. The normalization of the R slur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is probably the most common one. I've not heard crip being said as much in gaming. I don't know that's not really something we say in Norway as much either.
No.
But I don't know.
And and also like in the gaming sphere as well, like we have quite like American Americanification of the language.
Yeah.
So we are Norwegian, but we use a lot of American slang,
Yeah.
which like a lot of people haven't experienced these words from school, from childhood, from everyday life, because then people talk Norwegian to us.
Yeah, but the R slur is
that one is,
we heard that a lot growing up, and it's still in use
a lot.
Yeah, which is horrendous.
Not cool.
Yeah.
But and also I was thinking a bit like, I think the hard thing is also a lot of times when I talk about accessibility, people go like, oh, but you have cozy games. And then I go like, I love cozy games, like nothing wrong with cozy games. I love them. But people don't actually understand that like, yeah, but disabled people are as like different as non-disabled people or to be disabled people, as some people say, since all of us will experience it someday.
Yeah.
That like one genre maybe being more accessible does not solve the problem. Like I get people are so quick to put us into boxes and to say like, oh, but we have this and that, now you should be pleased. And no. And it is, at least because all of my content is in English, like I get a lot of backlash. Now I'm lucky enough to be like 33 or whatever I am now. I think I'm 33. And like
I don't have that in my notes.
Yeah, bad research. No,
I'm sorry.
But I am old enough to not caring anymore. Like if I get bad comments, I just use it to make another TikTok. Yeah. If I get a comment, it's just like, haha, now we can make more content. We can showcase why this is wrong and get 100-fold more positive comments.
Yeah.
But I am 33. I have gotten this from being born and raised on the internet before internet had any guards up.
Yeah.
So younger people then that tries to come into the community are met with, the R slur. Normalized. Like they go from being in a school class and getting told all these horrible things to go into a gaming world, which should be a space for everyone. And then because it's so normalized, people go like, yeah, but you don't know, I not actually mean that. And it's just like, yeah, but you are making it harder for people want to speak up, like people with mild cases of things or people who have invisible illnesses or disability don't want to speak up.
People who don't look like they're disabled.
Or people that have like Evelyn, like have a disability but cannot share it or don't want to share it with his friends because he's so afraid of the stigma around it. But
I'm sorry.
No,
just a minute. I did say I didn't get a lot of the R slur, but the thing I did get because my cerebral palsy gave me a naturally limp wrist, I got a lot of homophobia. I was called gay more than everyone called each other gay. I was called gay fractionally more than the other guys in school, which means that I internalized a lot of homophobia as well because I couldn't perform masculinity in the same way that other guys could. And that I think is also an important part of the conversation because I think that can lead to some internalized queer phobia in the disabled community as well. Because a lot of us are read as queer by default, maybe because other bodies are also othered in other ways. Which doesn't mean that we aren't. I mean, there's an argument to be made that the disability community is more openly queer as well, because the queer umbrella is more open to other kinds of gender expression and all kinds of stuff. But that also means that we've experienced a lot of internalized homophobia and a lot of internalized queerphobia as well. So that's what I had to deal with or struggle with the most growing up. And then I kind of realized I was disabled or a disabled minority much later in life, ironically enough.
One thing that I think is fascinating is that we're talking about this, and we've talked about some of like the very specific things that game developers can do. But it seems like the most important thing is something we all can do is just talk about it.
Talk about it.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, there's like the game dev things, but just being human and talking with each other about it, making it human.
Like I tell people, like, because they go like, what can we do to support disabled gamers? When you have a game, go into the settings, check the settings, even though you don't know anyone, but you might do tomorrow.
Yeah.
You never know what will happen tomorrow. And then you go, oh, wait a second. I know we can still play this game because we can go in and fix things.
Yeah.
Like, be curious, want to learn about it, like cheer about it, and and game developers write about it. Be proud when you add accessibility. I see so many, especially in Norway, we are really good with janteloven to just downplay. Like, we add something and then we go, well, pish posh, it wasn't that much. But no, write about it on your webpage. Like, make a site so that people can Google it and figure out about it. Like, be proud of what you add in the game, because it is a part of the art.
Yeah.
And we talked about, like, I think an important part of talking about it is just sort of normalizing conversations about how do you play a video game? What does it look like to you? Because I don't know that all of us, like you said, all of us who need accessibility features don't necessarily talk about it in a very sort of codified way.
Yeah.
So if we just talk about, like, how do you play a game? Did you get past this point? If not, how did you solve it? Or what's difficult in this game for you in a way that sort of hampers your enjoyment of it? And then out of that conversation, it's much easier to have a conversation about, okay, what do I need and what does that look like?
Yeah. It's very fascinating because I've heard, like, when you talk about learning to play music and stuff, if you want to be good at something, you have to be able to be bad at it first.
Yeah.
We're trying to learn to talk about disabilities and accessibility. We want to be good at it. We kind of have to dare to be bad at it first, and like trying it out.
Yes.
Yes.
And that goes for all of us.
Yeah.
That goes for all of us.
Just
And, yeah, and like, do not be afraid to try. Like, have fun. Like, when I take with me the controllers I use to play with my feet, people are like, oh no, but that is disability A, that is disability 2. Oh no, I don't want to break it. No. Have fun with it. Like, when I have like esport kids that like have it in for their club and stuff, I'm just like, make tournaments where like you're only allowed to play with one hand. You're only allowed to play with your feet. You're only allowed to do, like, have fun with it. Make people.
Sounds so cool.
It's so cool. Like, I was with like a school kids like after school program, and we had a Mario Kart tournament where they only were allowed to use one hand on the Switch controller. So we had like insert, so you can take your Switch controller and make it playable with just one hand. So the kids had to play like this, and they loved it.
Yeah.
And it got like competition. They started like telling on each other, hey, you used the other hand. I saw you use it. And it made it fun. It made it not scary.
Yeah.
It's not scary.
Yeah.
You cannot do a mistake. Like, if you have the possibility to access a disability or like an Xbox adaptive controller or something like that, try it. Have fun with it. Like, see how much strain can you put on it before it breaks. Like, normalize it, because a lot of times when people see anything that has to do with accessibility, they think about hospitals, they think about expensive things, they think about equipment that you cannot get normally without like years of specialized help. No, in the gaming, that is not it. In gaming, this is mostly the most commercial things we have is available for all people. And if you are disabled and looking at this, you can get help from NAV to get equipment if you need for your disability. So just FYI, so people that want to game more but cannot, there is things to get.
Yes, we're coming into the finish line, but like NAV is someone to contact. Is there other places people can go, either if they need help themselves or they just want to learn more about this? Where can people go?
I would highly recommend checking out my own channel. And
what is the name of that channel?
Arevya.
Yes. And what is also Alexander's Instagram, just to have that as well?
Wheelchairfly.
Wheelchairfly.
If you want to see pictures of me in clothing I like.
Yes. Or you can check him out on TV as well. As
I'm also Song and Murders, if you want to watch that on TV too.
But there, if you are, you can check out Can I Play That, which is an online magazine for accessibility reviews of games. In now summer showcase is coming up. There is some summer showcase accessibility, which is the first that goes off for accessibility. So that is a summer case, like it's an hour just showcasing cool accessible games that will come this year.
Yeah.
And
I guess like cool accessible games, which means cool games.
Yes. Yes. And they actually talk about it. And if you are a game developer that want to learn more, gameaccessibilityguidelines.com is like the ultimate Bible guide of all accessibility. So you can pick and choose.
Yes. You've talked about controllers. We actually have some here in studio, and I've never seen these before. So can you explain how these work?
I can.
Yes.
So these are the ones I use to play games. So this first one here is an Xbox adapted controller. It's not a DJ disc, which all people go like, oh, can I like... No. It's a controller, big flat controller with 2 big buttons on it. And then it's a hub. So on the backside, you have like many ports where you can put in buttons or anything. Like have you an electrode on a banana, you can plug it into that one, and then you can play on a banana.
Oh!
And then you have this, which is an Xbox joystick, which is a one-handed controller. So when I play games, I have this on the floor with these buttons. So these buttons is on the floor, and then I push those with my feet, and then I have it connected together.
I can just hold it here, and then camera 3 can just...
Yeah, so then I have it connected. So I use the controller with my hand to the joystick or this one, and then I use all the buttons. So anything I need to hold, anything that I do not need to rapidly press, but I need to hold for a long time is on the floor in front of me.
I realized just looking at this, like, was dance mats an early way of like accessibility?
Yeah.
Oh.
Modding, like the modding community, they are like the holy grail of accessibility. People before this came out, like this one came out in 2018, it wasn't any standardized things. Or Nintendo was actually the first. So in 1989, we had the first disability controller come out. It's called a Sip and Puff for the Nintendo NES. So that is like, people can look it up. This is old school, but then you had to call Nintendo of America and tell them I want to order this. And then you got like a form, and then you had to fill it out, send the money, and then you got it sent. So it was a whole process. Now you can just go on Microsoft and get this, and everybody can get it. Yeah.
And these works with Xbox and PC?
Yeah, these works with Xbox and PC, and with Switch. If you get your switcher from Amazon, you can use this on Nintendo Switch, which is brilliant. And then you have a single one, I call it the PlayStation Access, that is for the PlayStation 5.
Yes. So there's things for everyone. Like there's a lot of options. I just also want to say that people have been in the chat really loving this conversation. Just want to thank you both a lot. Normalizing this and talking about this, we hope this has been interesting, and it's really important. As we go to the final part of the conversation, is there anything else you'd like to say or talk about, or anything you want to have out there?
Games are fun, dude. Just play.
Games are fun.
Play video games. And talk about how you play video games. It's an emerging art form. It's been around for ages, but it's still only in its infancy.
Yep.
There's so many cool ways to play games, and so many cool games out there.
Yeah. And tonight, when you check out all the demos and stuff, go and check the settings. Like, please do, and please tell me about it. And like, if you see something cool, like, talk about it. Just normalize it.
Talk about it. That's kind of like the final comment. Talk about it. Normalize it.
Experience it.
Experience it. Yes. Awesome. So now we're going to go over to a quick showcase where we're going to have 5 minutes showcasing all the games we have in the Games of Norway event. It's going to be 5 minutes. So remember to comment if you see a game you like, wish list, and support the local game devs by buying a game on offer or just checking out new games. So 5 minutes of games, then we'll be back with more conversations in the Game of Norway live stream.